You have to go in with that mindset. Nobody knows me, so I'm going to try my very best to ensure that my brand is established or positioned in the minds of other people.
So hold on, Sir Fletcher. Even though you would have spent 15 years, 20 years in digital marketing for another company, you're saying when you start your company, nobody knows you?
No, man, you have to humble yourself.
Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Sinister are powered up to share their expertise on the business end.
Welcome to another episode of The Business End. I'm your host, Zidane Sinister. And here on The Business End, we provide real and practical solutions to advance businesses by speaking to experts in the field and existing entrepreneurs. Now, today we have the pleasure of speaking to a truly multifaceted leader, Sir Jonathan Fletcher. Now, Sir Jonathan Fletcher is the founder and chief creative officer of FIMS Creative Agency. Now, Sir Jonathan has been making significant strides in the marketing world, spearheading impactful campaigns for clients across local, regional, and international markets. With over a decade of experience, he is an expert spanning across social media management, digital fulfillment, content creation, and brand development. Now, Sir Jonathan is also a devoted minister of religion at Faith Mission Church of God over in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, where he leads the media arm of the Art and Visual Ministry. He also serves as a youth president. Now, he is dedicated to community service, and his faith and ministry is unwavering. He inspires young minds, and he is also somebody that is working towards guiding these young minds to be given their God-fulfilled purpose. Now, he's also the co-host of Campus Connection. He's a motivational speaker. Yeah, I tell you, he's an MC. You know, he knows and he has the ability to uplift audiences in and across Jamaica. Welcome, sir. How are you doing this afternoon?
Thank you so much for having me. I am so glad to be here.
Yes, so happy to have you, sir. And we can't wait to dive into your story with FIMS Creative Agency. Now, tell us, how did that journey begin? And what prompted you to start your company?
All right, so to be very honest with you, I had no intention of starting FIMS, but some would have it to say that it was purpose being manifested in that regard.
Yes.
In the sense that I've been around corporate, I've worked in government, I've worked in different spaces in marketing, and I've recognized every single time I felt a tug towards entrepreneurship, not really knowing what exactly I should be doing in the sphere of entrepreneurship. And then FIMS just evolved, right? Some would say out of nowhere, but I believe God had his, hand on it.
So you were called?
Well, we can put it that way.
And you would try to resist the call?
Absolutely, definitely, without
but
a shadow of a doubt.
the fire kept burning.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And pushed you into forming this company. And I'm sure you would have started with a vision, you had your mission, you had your goals.
Absolutely.
And that has not necessarily been smooth sailing. You would have encountered some challenges.
Absolutely.
What are some of the challenges that you would have encountered and how would you have dealt with some of those?
All right, so the reality, I'm a young man. And I operate in a field, especially in digital marketing, where I'm trying to bridge the gap, as I always tell people, between creatives and corporate.
Yes.
That's not easy.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times, creatives, they have a mind of their own, and they want to do things how they want to do it.
Yes.
But corporate is very stringent and say, hey, this is what I want, how I want it, when I want it. So bridging the gap has always been a challenge, but I think over the years I've kind of developed a rubric, if you will, to find a way to have that conversation with the creatives for them to feel comfortable, and also with corporate for them to feel comfortable, so everybody's happy at the end of the day.
So in essence, what you're also saying is that you have a creative mindset where you want to take the product or take the campaign or take the vision.
Yes.
But then you have your clients that has certain restrictions.
A lot.
and they have to answer to their boards and stuff like that. So you have to find that thin line in making sure that the audience and the target audience that they're trying to reach are reached in the right, efficient way, and as well as satisfying your clients and their limitations.
I can bring it a step further. Today I had a call from a client, and She is the marketing officer,
Yes.
and she was saying to me that, hey, I asked her how she was doing, and she
Yes.
was like, not so good.
Yes.
And so I said, why? And she said, heard from top people
Yes.
that the campaign that we're about to launch Wednesday
Yes.
can't go through.
Oh my.
And,
Budget.
I mean, a lot of things
Yeah.
behind the scenes just not working out how it's
Yes.
supposed to work out.
Yes.
Well, let me not say can't go through, it has to be postponed.
Yes.
But we were ready to launch
Yes.
on Wednesday.
Yes.
And those are just some of the things that happen,
Yes.
and we just have to pivot.
Yes.
COVID was a very, very big lesson for me personally as relates to pivoting.
Yes.
So these small things are just, okay, cool. All right, let's just find a way to work around it.
First one, work around it.
Mhm.
And that's the point that we want to highlight at this juncture, is that there are times in which your clients are facing their own challenges. You're trying to expand and bring to another frontier of their campaign, and you have to find that thin line to make things work.
Absolutely.
So, in essence, your client is always right. Once you're satisfying your client will be able to then reach their goal. But you have to guide them as much as possible to ensure that they are able to reach their markets. Because sometimes they really, really don't know, and they're looking for your guidance.
Absolutely.
But you have to maintain that thin line of balance. Okay. And so on the note of creative direction, you're a creative guy. You've been in this thing a long time, over a decade. How do you continue to inspire? How do you continue to create? What sort of a mechanism you go through to have these ideas and bring these ideas to fusion, satisfying your clients?
All right. So I'm going to answer this twofold.
Yes.
Right? Because at the end of the day, I'm a Christian.
Yes.
There have been moments where I'm faced with, okay, we want this to happen. What are your thoughts? I don't have no thoughts, first of all. Let me just put it out there. I don't have no thoughts.
Yes.
And so I have to pray and ask God to inject some thoughts.
Always come
Right?
from God.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I have to pray and ask Him to inject some thoughts. And I'll have the randomest ideas just popping up out of nowhere. I drive in and I just get an idea. I have to pull over, I have to write it down and stuff like that. But there's another side, because, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So we have to put in the research. We have to stay abreast with all the trends that are happening within the marketing space, so we know what is necessary to bring whatever brands we're working with to the next level. It's so important for us to understand as well what other persons are doing. Not to say that we're copying, but just to ensure that we are not behind.
Yes.
Right? Because even in the space of social media, it moves very quickly. It's basically in real time, so we have to make sure that we're abreast and on top of things.
Yeah. So you have to keep abreast of the trends.
Absolutely.
And what is happening, and sort of incorporate some of those trends, because of course consumer behavioral patterns and taste changes.
Absolutely.
And you have to be ahead of the game in
Yeah.
order to make sure that your clients' campaigns are successful. Now, on those issue of campaigns, I'm sure you've worked on a lot of campaigns. Now, if you can name one or two of those memorable campaigns and that you would have had, and how has that been for you? What made it worthwhile?
Alright, so since I got the call recently, because when I saw this question, I started thinking, as you rightfully say, I've worked on a lot of campaigns. But one that I think is most memorable, we worked on Dancing Dynamites recently. We did event coverage and stuff like that for them. And what was memorable for me was Jenny being the person behind it. Her love, not just for the competition, but for the people, and getting the stories of the people out there. I was moved by that, in the sense that she genuinely wants them to be better, not just for them to win some money or whatever. She genuinely has like a program and all of that, and it was a real eye-opener for me, where she's doing business, and she's doing good business. But at the same time, her heart for the people supersedes even the business that she's doing. So that was a very good eye-opener for me, even as a business owner, because I don't want just to focus on profit, but I also want to focus on how the profit can profit people. Alright, so that is important for me.
There you have it, a big gem there coming from Sir Jonathan Fletcher, in that your clients must be fulfilled. You must go beyond the profit metric and ensure that your client is satisfied, impacting lives impacting a community, and that community will impact your bottom line at a future date.
Absolutely.
So you made mention of the trends
Mm-hmm.
that has been happening and the changing and ever so changing, and you try to keep abreast with those changes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are some of the evolution that you would have seen in the digital space and just marketing, and how have you helped to incorporate some of those changes in find a solution for some of your clients?
All right, the first thing I'll say is the reality is that traditional marketing as we know it is no longer as effective as we'd like it to be.
I want you to break that down in a certain.
All right, I'm going to.
What do you mean by traditional marketing?
Not a problem. So you have above the line marketing, you have below the line marketing. You have traditional,
yes.
you have non-traditional.
Yes.
Right? Traditional would be like your TV, your newspaper, your flyers, your handout on the road, stuff like that. Whilst non-traditional marketing would be like social media, your website ads, SEO, all of those things. Right? It's so important for businesses to understand where we are as a whole, right? And understand where their target market spends most of their time. Because if my target market is not spending most of the time in front of the TV, and I'm spending $500,000, $1 million, $2 million on TV ads, I'm wasting money. And that's just the reality of it all. When you could take that same $500,000, invest it into digital marketing, and really reach the people you are trying to reach. So to basically answer your question, when it comes on to understanding digital marketing and how it works and all of that, first you have to understand the people you're trying to reach. Because maybe digital marketing is not for you. Maybe your target market is in front of the TV. Maybe your target market reads the newspaper every single Sunday religiously. But you have to understand that first, and once you understand that, then you can make some real decisions to say, okay, cool, let's split the marketing budget this way instead of splitting it this way. And then we distribute accordingly. But if you don't understand the people you're serving, then you're going to have a hard time coming up with a proper marketing strategy to get to them.
Oh, solid point. So you would recommend then for a company that is trying to reach your target market, first they must do the research, understand their target, their people, and then do a campaign targeting those target those target persons. And so you would do the demographics, you will do
break it down,
right down to even their income levels.
Absolutely.
And what gets them going. So there you have it, listeners and viewers. You must do your research onto your target market, and then from your target market research you would have a system where you can develop your strategies in order to reach your target audience. Absolutely. Now I know you are a man of faith. You are involved in your ministry, in your community. You're also involved in some community work. How do you balance all of that in terms of your ministry, your professional life, or does these different areas of your life feed into one another?
All right, so I'm going to say something a bit controversial. Balance is a myth, right? Show me the man who is completely balanced, and I will pay you. I will pay you serious money, right? Because some is going to suffer at some point in time. But you now have to be intentional on what you're doing. I live my life this way. If you honor God, He will honor you. So I spend a lot of time making sure that I don't neglect the things of God. Right? I try my very best to ensure that I put as much time and effort into building the kingdom of God. But at the same time, balance is important, or achieving balance rather is important, in the sense that we have to understand the different responsibilities afforded to us and say, okay, I have to be intentional. I guess that's the word that you have to use. You have to be intentional to say, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Maybe I need to postpone this or take it off the calendar altogether, but it will have to work it out in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, and our apostle is, even though he's not in studio, he's in heart and in mind. He would have said, if he was here, that you must have your productivity planner. So, viewers and listeners, there you have it. Sir Jonathan Fletcher is saying to us that we must be intentional about our time. We must be intentional about the prioritizing the tasks. And Wired to Win productivity planner, you can go out and seek it, buy it, implement it in your life by the apostle, Dr. Courtney McLean. I would say that in you advising, say, businesses. I know businesses are different stages of growth.
Absolutely.
So you may have a young business, improving and growing business. You have like a mature business. Now we spoke about different trends that is happening in digital space and marketing. How would you advise? What sort of a strategy? What sort of a tool? What sort of a way to go for a young company, an improving one, and a maturing one?
All right, so let's start from the young company. First of all, nobody knows you. I have to go in with that mindset. Nobody knows me, so I'm going to try my very best to ensure that my brand is established or positioned in the minds of other people.
So hold on, Sir Fletcher. Even though you would have spent 15 years, 20 years in digital marketing for another company, you're saying when you start your company, nobody knows you?
No, man, you have to humble yourself. Humble yourself and understand, say, hey, nobody knows me.
Nobody knows
I'm not going to pretend as if people know me.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if you go in with the mindset that people already know you, then you already fail.
So they know you, but they don't know your brand. They don't
know the brand. So you have to put a lot of work into ensuring that people understand what the brand is, what exactly it is that they should expect from this brand. How should this brand make them feel? Stuff like that. I can use FIMS as an example. There are people now who call me FIMS.
Yes.
Right? They don't know my name anymore. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But because I spent a lot of time ensuring that put Jonathan aside for 2 minutes and let's just focus on pushing FIMS and letting people know that, hey, this is what we do, this is what we can offer. So that's from this side of the young company. As relates to somebody that's probably in the middle, you have to understand now that you are literally at, I'd like to call it a crossroads, right? You have to figure out what has worked, what is not working, and then make a decision on how we can move forward into the future. Because if you're not taking an intentional approach again in understanding these things, then you're just operating in a vacuum. So you must understand what has worked in the past, what is working now, and what you think will be working in the future, because forecasting is super important in that regard. And then for established companies now, you must keep your brand top of mind, right? It's so important. People ask the question, why is KFC advertising? Right? Because, everybody got KFC on a Friday. But the truth is, if KFC stop advertising about their deals and their promotions and whatever, it's not going to be as top of mind as, we know it to be. So you have to keep your brand top of mind at all times.
Mighty. So let's recap. A young company must go with the humility that nobody knows them.
Absolutely.
And press day in, day out to getting their names into the minds of those persons.
Absolutely.
The company that is improving must also be mindful of the different strategies, know where they are to target, where they are to vision, and structure it in an intentional way about doing so. The mature companies must make sure that even though you know our service and our brands, we must keep in your mind being placed in the forefront everywhere, every corner to ensure that we remain at the top.
Absolutely.
Mighty. So you're pushing for marketing 24/7.
Definitely.
I would expect anything different because you're in marketing and you want these business owners to spend their buck. So are they getting value for buck though? For spending so much money?
That's a very good question. What I like to tell people is that at the end of the day, marketing is an investment. And if you don't see it as an investment, then you're going to count every single dollar that's spent. The truth is, when you market your company, you're building awareness, you're building trust. That T word is super important. Because at the end of the day, you can sell a good product, but if I don't know it's a good product, then it doesn't matter to me at the end of the day. What is important is that if you understand that it's an investment, you're looking to reap the rewards down the line. You're looking to say, okay, people must know about my brand. They may not buy right now, but whenever it is, they, for example, think of a bottled water, they would know that, okay, my brand is holy water.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And one day them in the sun walking
Yeah.
and them hot and whatever and they remember the holy water ad
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're looking for the holy water to buy.
Boy, I think you just give an idea to a bottling company.
Please don't do that. Please
But we have to be
don't.
careful about that holy water. But nonetheless, I get your point, sir.
Yeah.
And it's quite refreshing the fact that you see the advertising spend as an investment,
Absolutely.
something to reap into the future.
Mhm.
So you're actually building a positive goodwill
Good. Yeah.
into your company when you make such an investment. And that's what Sir Jonathan Fletcher is suggesting for us here today. Build your brand, build your investment, and reap rewards in the future. Now, I know you would have spoken to a lot of business owners, including, well, you would have been in business yourself.
Correct.
What sort of advice would you give to persons who are desirous to enter into business? They're listening to you and they say, well, I want to start my business tomorrow. What sort of advice would you give to those persons, or even persons who have been in business? They're not so successful as the KFC, but they have been in business long, toiling, tilling the soil. And they haven't broken through that barrier. They feel restricted. What sort of advice you have for those two persons?
All right. So let's start with the persons who are probably wanting to go into business.
Yes.
Right? The truth is you need capital.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. You need capital, you need capital. So work. Do the 9 to 5. Do the jobs, the odd jobs, and build a capital, and then be wise in how you move from working into going into business. Don't be like me, right? But that's not a story for another time. And then for people,
don't be like you.
Don't be like me, please. Then for people who are in business already, they normally say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Sometimes you have to realize it's broken, and then figure out what you need to do to fix it. And reach out for advice. Talk to other business owners. Talk to people who are doing better than you. Because, as I said, it goes back to the humility again. We don't know everything. We don't know everything. Reach out. There are people in my phone right now that if I come up on a situation that I can't figure it out, I will take up my phone and call them and be like, boy, me don't know how to do this. How we, I work it through and stuff like that. So it's very important that you do that. And if you can do some short courses, you can do that as well. If you can be a part of some programs, we just finished the Heart Trust MSME entrepreneurship program. That was a 2-year program. I needed that, right? To learn the different things, because I know marketing, but I don't necessarily know accounting. I don't necessarily know staffing and stuff like that. So it's important to reach out if you need the help.
So reach out if you need the help. Get the mentors. Get the mentors on board. And you also said that so get capital. But let me ask you. Work 9 to 5. The 9 to 5 for most persons are just bare minimum. They're just able to cover the bills.
True.
So what they must do to get this extra capital to start the businesses that they've been sitting on, they want to give birth to it. The Holy Spirit is talking to them. They're feeling the fire, but they don't have the wood to put to the fire. Where must they get this capital?
All right, I can speak for myself. In starting FIMS, I took out a loan, right? I don't know if that was the best thing to do. I mean, it worked out in the long run. And I also applied for grants. Right? There are a lot of grants out there. You'd be surprised how many grants. And grants is free money. You don't have to pay it back, right? It's free money. Government has a lot of grants. You have DBJ, you have Heart Again. They have grants afforded that are able rather to fund whatever vision that you have. However, you have to have a proper business plan in place and an actual registered business. So it can't just be a little hustle. You want to do a little vending or you want to do a little buy and sell or whatever. You have to have your proper paperwork, your TCC and all of those things in place in order to tap into these grants.
And there you have it. If your 9 to 5 is just covering your personal expenses, but you want to get into business, what you have to do, Sir Jonathan Fletcher is suggesting that you apply for these grants, get your business registered, get your business plan up and running, tweak them, continue to work them, get your structures in place, your board of directors, your staffing, so that when you apply for these grants, the persons who are vetting the whole application process
Absolutely.
would know that you are serious about
Absolutely.
business. And if you're serious about business, then they will come on board and find the funding for you. Now, I know you have mega plans. You said you're just completed some course, right? And you are a visionary. You're speaking to God daily, right? And what is the future looks like for FIMS Creative Agent?
All right, so for us, the major thing, and this is for me from a personal standpoint,
Yeah.
I really want to give creatives the opportunity to create. And I know that sounds simple, I know that sounds, but the truth is there are a lot of creatives who are very talented, very gifted, but because they don't have the proper structures in place,
Yes.
they can't get into certain projects and work on certain, ads and stuff like that. So I want to give creatives the option or the opportunity rather to create. So I want to have a space where creatives can work on what they need to work on. Because at FIMS we have a very strict policy where I don't really care how you do the work, I don't care where you are, I don't care about those things.
Yeah.
As long as you do the work and you do it well and it's handed in on time, good.
Yes.
Right? You could have done a Bermuda on the
Yes.
beach
Yes.
or whatever. Once you have strong Wi-Fi
Yes.
or whatever, it's fine. So stuff like that, I am looking forward to creating that space. So we have a worldwide network of creatives.
Yes.
We're just serving people right across the world.
That sounds good. Giving them the space and the longitude and latitude to create, and therefore ensuring that they're meeting their clients.
Absolutely.
And being on time. That's a world of good, because being on time and
Very
delivering
important.
is very important in your line of business. Now, where and how can persons contact you?
All right, so you can reach out to us on our website www.fimsja.com, or send us an email at connect, that's CONNECT @fimsja.com, or you can call our WhatsApp us at 876-543-6701, that's 876-543-6701.
We want to thank you, Sir Jonathan Fletcher. It has been a delightful conversation. I must tell you, it's quite refreshing.
Thank you.
To hear creatives, as you put it, given the time and space to create and to think about their clients and their clients' well-being. Because oftentimes it's actually an indictment that we serve clients in a service industry, but we don't put the service in the service.
That's
So,
big.
so it's kind of good to hear entrepreneurs such as yourself, Sir Fletcher, from FIMS, Creative Agency, in suggesting that you want to ensure that your client is meeting their goals.
Absolutely.
You're getting into the space of these clients. It's quite refreshing, and you made mention of that example that you gave. That is a rewarding campaign for you. In another note, you made mention that in terms of you satisfying the strategies for a young company, an improving company, and a company that has been around the block.
Yeah.
That you must do your proper research to the target audience to see if these traditional marketing campaigns are what speak to your clients, or if you want to attract new clients, then you need to look to the new trends. And
Absolutely.
how do you do that? You also may mention that we must see the advertising spend as an investment into your brand.
Correct.
And while you build your positive goodwill, then that positive goodwill will pay you in the end.
Absolutely.
And in your future and your net worth in terms of your business. So I want to thank you for speaking to us. We were certainly edified. We're certainly better for it. No, thank you, sir. And this has been another episode of The Business End. You are the Business End Show tribe. You are literally the best. Now, until next time, continue to be your increasing best. You can contact us at The Business End Show on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. Now, continue to be your increasing best. Be great and be the best that God wants you to be. Thank you.
Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Simister are powered up to share their expertise on the business end. See, but don't forget to tell a friend or a colleague. And of course, have your tools on hand, your notebook and your pen. Classes are in session every Tuesday, 3:30 on Gospel JA for the business end. Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Simister await you.